Welcome back to Morning Drive. It's time for Ryder Cup Great Moments in Time, presented by Omega. Tonight at 8 p.m. here on Golf, you can relive the exciting 2010 Ryder Cup with a special presentation of golf's greatest rounds. By virtue of clutch putting like this one on 16, Graham McDowell secured the victory over Hunter Mahan in the last of the 12 singles matches, which was enough to give the Europeans a 14.5 to 13.5 victory over the US squad. So with that, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome in the captain of that 2010 European Ryder Cup team, Colin Montgomerie. Monty, it is a pleasure to see you as always. It's great to hear you're doing well back at home in England and the family are staying safe. But let's just jump straight to it because you are one of the greatest Ryder Cup players of all time. Describe what an honour it was to take on the captain's role 10 years ago.
Oh, it's amazing. You start off your career and you try and make it through the qualifying schools and onto the tour, and then you try and keep one's card as you do, and then you might think, hang on a minute, have a chance of winning a tour event, and then you might win a tour event, and then you win another couple more, then you get on the Ryder Cup team, and then somebody says, you could be a captain in the day. It's just from school days really up. It's the greatest honour that can be bestowed on any American or European player, really, is to captain your Ryder Cup team. And so, yeah, it was bestowed on me, 2010, and gladly accepted. At the stage, I was really not waiting, but hoping possibly to be captain in 2014, which would be my home course at the time at Gleneagles in Scotland. But when the opportunity comes around, you've got to take it. And so 2010 just happened to be my time, and it worked out okay.
Well, it was never going to be easy, Monty, in 2010. The USA had sort of found this new-formed confidence from triumphing back in 2008. But from everything that you had learned as a player in your previous 8 Ryder Cups, what did you believe was the most important asset as a captain?
I think preparation sprung to mind. I think the good captains that I played under were prepared. And I mean plan A, plan B, plan C. There's no point in just preparing for plan A and then something happens. And then you've got to go somewhere and you think, hang on a minute, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. So you've got to prepare. And I think that was my job, was preparing my 12 players to get on the first tee prepared to win. There's no point in sending them out there for 4.5 hours and they come back with nothing. That was a complete waste of time. So at least send them out prepared. They had more opportunity to bring back half a point or a point from their game. So my job was to prepare my team to stand on that first tee with nothing to worry about apart from playing golf.
Well, speaking of preparations, Monty, you went to extreme lengths to get your team as ready as they could be for the first tee. Just describe some of the perhaps more unusual preparations that you went through.
Honestly, I think I went a little bit overboard, to be honest. The Celtic Manor Hotel was a fabulous 5-star hotel, but unfortunately the beds were 5-foot beds, and I wanted my team to sleep well, so I got a removal company in, and 18 beds were removed, and I was only 12 in the team, but we had vice captains and officials, and they all had a 6-foot bed too. So the removal company came in and we changed all the beds to 6-foot beds. Trouble is, the headboard and the side tables that you have on beds now didn't fit, so they had to be removed as well, but at least my team was sleeping properly. The kitchen was moved upstairs so that when we came back from practice or from playing in the days that the food remained warm. Special chefs were called upon. Special menus for certain players, Spanish players, German players, whatever it might be, were eating different foods. So international chefs were organised. And then of course the Welsh weather in October. You're pushing the boundaries a wee bit in Wales in October, and it could rain. And to have a week dry would have been a result. And we'll get into that later with the weather. But at the same time, the waterproofs were vital. And a lot of the equipment was made actually in China, in Hong Kong, and so I went over a couple of times to China to take the yardage book that was a larger yardage book than is used on tour, and it wouldn't have fit in the back pockets of the players or the caddies that had certain waterproofs. So the waterproofs were designed with bigger back pockets so that when the yardage book was put in there, it didn't get wet or it fit. Stuff like that went on.
It was no doubt a huge hurdle to overcome, and as the sessions unfolded, Europe and USA swapped the lead multiple times. It was so tense, really, from the word go. But what do you think was your best decision leading into the Monday singles?
To get to the 9.5, 6.5 lead. What was my best decision? Goodness me! You know, we tried a couple of decisions, you know, Poulter being a sort of Mr. Ryder Cup at the time. I put him out and it didn't quite work with his first player, Ross Fisher, so I changed that with Harrington. Harrington fathered Ross Fisher a little bit better than Poulter did, and Poulter then won with Luke Donald. It was and Westwood was thrown in there as well. It was just a matter of trying to get the pairings right and who felt comfortable with who. Yes, we had ideas beforehand, but plan A was thrown out the window, as I said earlier on. So we're now on to plan D by now. Plan B and C were gone as well. So it was very different. It was so different to have everybody playing at the same time. And I was fortunate that out of that 6 games that were on the course, you know, we won 5.5 of them, and that was why we won the Ryder Cup on that fateful Sunday afternoon, really, that we had to do it. If we had only drawn that series, of course, we'd have lost the Ryder Cup there. But that series on that Sunday, when we won 5.5 out of the 6 games on the course, we were even playing 2 4-balls to start with, then followed with 4 foursomes. Sorry, because they were laid over from Saturday. It was a real mess, but. That was why we won, and I think all the players on my side respected that this was the session that we had to win. We started behind, and we ended up 3 points ahead. And you go in at home 3 points ahead, usually, apart from Medina, of course. Usually, you're okay, and I felt more comfortable Saturday night, but I wasn't leading up to that. We were behind, of course, and it was so tight. The American team were well managed by a very competitive captain. I knew that, and he had good support with him, and of course Woods and Mickelson on the team as well. It was a tough one to get through, but it was the Saturday afternoon that really got us through.
It was an unprecedented edition of the Ryder Cup for so many reasons, Monty, and for it to come down to Graham McDowell's anchor match, the intensity, you couldn't have written it really, but did you take more joy winning the Ryder Cup as the captain or as part of your winning team with all the iconic moments that you've brought to the event over the years?
Of course, it's a great honour, you know, to regain the Ryder Cup as opposed to retain it, as opposed to win it back is something that every captain that has lost the previous one wants to do again, you know, and win it back. But even talking about it to you now, it brings back the lack of control that I had as a captain. I sent out players, and 4 hours later, let's hope they come back with a victory. I'd lost control, and I think as a player, I had a lot more control because I was only interested in my match. That's all I could do, was try and win my point. Here as captain, I'm trying to win all 12 points, and it's impossible. So I feel for every captain that's been before me and after me that the lack of control is something that I didn't enjoy. But when it's over, of course, yes, and you win, fantastic. But you know, there's no grey area in the Ryder Cup. You either win or you lose. It's very much black or white. There's no grey area, and win, yes, fine, but lose, you know, you're opened up into all sorts of press overhaul of your whole life and your whole meaning of what you're doing. And So I feel for any captain that has lost over the years through no fault of their own, to be honest, just someone hold a putt at the right time against you, whether it be for Europe or America. But I felt the lack of control. That was the one thing that I really did feel that I didn't have. Yeah, and that was really something I hadn't foreseen.
Unbelievably, it's 10 years ago now, and a captaincy that you should be very proud of. But when we look ahead to this year's Ryder Cup, Monty, there's a very strong chance that it could be played behind closed doors. Now, you appreciate the importance of the fans more than most. Where do you sit on this decision?
Well, I mean, if I was voting, I'd vote against it being played without fans, definitely. I think the Ryder Cup is a unique competition. The atmosphere is unique. And I think it needs fans. You'd be rushing it through. You'd be impatient to play it, really. Why not just wait until it's played properly? And I think the Ryder Cup deserves to be played properly. And I'm saying that against Europe because it's in America's favour to have the Ryder Cup with fans. In Wisconsin, with a Wisconsin native as the captain in Steve Stricker, with all these Green Bay Packers coming down the road, all these cheeseheads coming down, supporting America as they will. It'll be loud and boisterous, and it deserves that. Yes, we'll do our best to try and put up with it, but at the same time, it'll be in America's favour to play with fans. It'll be in Europe's favour to play without. But I do think that the Ryder Cup deserves fans to be there. It is that unique event that I just can't see it being voted for to be played empty. It's just another game of golf. I would be dead against it, and let's hope that the powers that be vote in the right way and vote for the Ryder Cup to be played properly, which is with fans next year.
I think we all wait in anticipation to find out the answer to that question. But Monty, you're a Ryder Cup legend. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Continue to stay safe, and we look forward to catching up soon.
Well, you all do the same. Stay safe. Thank you.